Hi, welcome. Well, this is the first down in North Wales. I pronounce it correctly, which I probably won't. Graiglwyd, beautiful little fishery in the hills. I've come down with Peter Appleby for a couple of days of pleasure fishing. Neither have been here before, and hopefully Peter's going to explain how he approaches a new fishery that he's never been to, and do a few different methods, and hopefully we can catch one or two fish and give little tips and pointers of what to do if you're aiming to fish a new fishery that you've never been to. So we'll see how it goes, and we'll see how we get on. Hi, well, I'm with James McAllister, owner of the fishery. I'll get James to pronounce it because obviously Geordie doesn't pronounce Welsh name very well. So what's the actual name of the lake?
Well, being an Irishman, I don't pronounce it that well either, but it's Graiglwyd Springs.
That sounds good to me, James. That's better than my Geordie accent would make it, that's for sure. What a fantastic fishery you've got here. It's absolutely stunning in the drop of the mountains. It's beautiful, you know. When we go to a new fishery that we've never been to before, obviously Peter's doing a thing on how to approach a fishery we've never been before, so we tend to have a look around. Now, some sort of questions we ask is what sort of depth is average sort of depth of the lake? How does it go in depth?
We're lucky here. It is very deep indeed. It's 26 feet in the middle, so it's great for fishing in warm weather. You know, a lot of fisheries suffer with lack of depth.
Definitely.
So in the summer, of course, it fishes very well indeed.
Yeah.
Particularly if you're going deep on lures with buzzers. So
yeah.
we've got that on our side.
And
it's nice and cool down there.
In the winter, I mean, obviously most fisheries lures are good in the winter, but in the summer, as the spring and the summer progresses, they tend to go on more natural stuff. How's it been fishing in the last couple of weeks? What's sort of the format of what's been happening on a daily basis?
It's been an interesting few weeks. It's been fishing very well indeed. Of course, we've got to make sure we stock it regularly as well. Yeah. But certainly in the mornings you're going to get a rise some mornings, and of course the dries are great. Yeah. But it's only really just starting now. And of course the other things that are working very well are olive damsels, you know, a few feet under the surface in the morning. Yeah. Changing as the day progresses onto buzzers a bit further down. Particularly as the sunlight comes out, and then if we're really lucky we start to get the fish topping in the evenings, and dries start to come into play as well, and that's only been in the last week or two. Yeah. It's getting exciting. There's a good variety for the angler. Good.
And I think you stock a variety of size of fish as well, you know.
Yeah, the stockies tend to be 2 and a bit pounds, but then we've got some nice 3 and 4 pounders in there as well, and of course we put doubles in, so we've got fish from 10 to 20 pounds in here, so there's some good stuff for people to go at.
There's plenty of fish to go at. Yeah. Then. That's brilliant. So you can come obviously for a day ticket, or you can come for a week and stay. You have the facilities down the bottom of lovely houses as well.
Yeah, we're lucky. I mean, the fishery started as a really good place to come and fish for people that were travelling maybe an hour or so, but then of course we added cottages, or the previous owner Hugh added cottages over the last 15 years. So we've got 8 really fabulous holiday cottages here where you can bring a family of 8, or just a couple can come, and they're 100 metres away from the fishery. So yeah, I think we like to think we've got something for everybody here. Yeah. You know, fishing during the morning, day, or evening for the anglers. And of course, if the family come as well, there's loads to do in the area in North Wales has got to offer.
So you've got a bit of everything then.
Yeah, we're pretty blessed. Lovely. In this part of the world. And
brilliant.
Great views as well.
Thank you. Hopefully we'll catch you 1 or 2 of your fish.
Oh, you will. No mind I hope. You definitely will.
Thanks very much. Thank you. Cheers. Well, I haven't even had a chance to set my tackle up yet, and Mr. Phil Burgess is fishing here today as well. So you've just started yourself, Phil?
Yeah, third cast.
And what, you got the indicator on?
Indicator on 10 foot.
2 flies?
Yeah, 2 flies. Got the small fish.
Blob on the point,
yeah, and point, golden blob, yeah.
And worm on the dropper. So they took the one down at about 10 foot, so quite deep with this sunshine out then, yeah?
Yeah.
But happy days, you're into a fish. So it's a good sign when you come to a new fishery and You haven't even tackled up and you've seen fish caught. Yellow blob. Lovely. Well done.
Thank you.
Good start, Phil.
Yes, thank you.
Right, Peter's into his first one, and I still haven't got my gear set up. Good take, Peter.
Yeah. Controlled pulling the apple worm.
Oh, it's on the apple worm, is it?
Yeah.
Just fairly slow.
Controlled pulling.
Aye. Well, just far down, count-wise.
Yeah, first time on a fishery show you've got to go through the motions and start off pulling and work up through nymphs and buzzers and dries, but
Well, that's only your third cast or so, isn't it?
yeah, nice fish, apple worm,
Nice fish.
leaded,
Nice.
the weighted apple worm so I can control it,
Right.
push it slow. That's a
Nice.
beautiful fish.
Let's have a look here. Wait a minute, Peter. Oh, there's a little tadpole in the net as well.
Yeah,
Liam? Yeah, lovely.
beautiful fish of about
Nice.
4 pounds.
4 pound. Nice. Whoa, there he goes. It's some gin clear water, isn't it?
Absolutely clean clear. Hello there, Peter Appleby here. We're at a new fishery in North Wales. First time I've ever fished this fishery. What a beautiful fishery it is. Crystal clear water. Looks pretty active, few fish rising, but it's the first time on the water. So what I'm going to do is start with pulling. I'm going to just pull the Apses worm, but I'm pulling it on a controlled pulling. I'm not ripping it in like you see a lot of people fish the Apses worm. Because they high, these fish, I want the fly to fish pretty slow. I don't want to rip it past them, because this time of year fish slow, they tend to take flies fished slower than they do fast. As it warms up throughout the summer, you'll find the slower you go, the better success you get. So I'm just starting with this method. It's on a fast glass, but I'm pulling straight away. It's an unleaded fly, so there's no weight whatsoever to it, so I'm not fishing it that deep, no more than 2 foot, 3 foot tops, and just see how we go. I've got a really bad bank behind us here. It's more or less vertical. I'll just show you what I'm up against. So that's a pretty steep bank for casting, so you can't really do a long back cast. You don't need to be that far out. There's fish showing, and see how we go. I'm just control, very very slow, starting pretty high, and I'll slowly count down the depths as I'm going, just to see if they are deeper, because sometimes they can mislead you. You know, you see fish on the top and you think they're high and they're not, they're coming from pretty deep. But you have to work things out. That's what happens when you fish a fishery for the very first time. Slowing everything down. So there's 2 casts I've had there, pulling straight away. So I'm going to start going through the levels now. So the next cast, same sort of cast. Like you see, I've got a really steep bank behind us. It's very awkward casting. I'm just talking the line and just now counting down. That's 10 seconds, so now I'm going to start at 10 seconds. See if that makes any difference. It's a pretty deep fishery. The manager says it's as deep as 25 foot in the middle, so you've got some depth to play with. And it looks pretty weed free as well. That's 15 seconds. Try your one high again. The fish I caught prior when I first started was pretty high, like it was more or less pulling straight away, so you just got to try and work things out first time on a fishery. Fighting very well with it being crystal clear. This was on a pink Apsis worm and fishing it, tweaking it, but no more than 4 inches down under the surface. These fish are very, very high in the water, very high. Lovely fish coming in. Nice little pinky there, right in the corner of its mouth. Beautiful fish. Let's see if I can repeat that. and again, very, very, very slow. If you rip them flies back in this sort of conditions, your takes will dry up. You've got to fish flies slow when you pull them this time of year. You get away with ripping them fast early March through March, and a lot of people, when they fish the Apses worm, they keep the same sort of retrieve, fast tweaky pulls, which is great early season, but as it warms up you must slow them flies down. Just steady away. And it makes a massive difference to working out fisheries, you know. A lot of people, they just stick to the same retrieves, the same method, you know, and work it out. And not only that, study how you're catching fish. You know, I've studied. It took us a while to find out how they want this fly, but now that I've got them, I've studied exactly how they want this. You know, I mean, you're never going to get a fish every single cast, but you're in the zone. You know how they want it because you've studied it, and you know, I went through a lot of time fishing this particular worm, different speeds and different depths, till I found out. But I studied which was the best way they wanted, and I'm basically on them now. If I was to stick with this, I'll get a lot of fish on the bank. But you know, we're not here just to catch on one method, fish after fish after fish. We're here to go through various methods. But I'll land this fish and I'll repeat a few casts just to show you that it's a consistent way of fishing. Here we are, a lovely fish, same fly. And it doesn't really matter. I honestly don't think it matters on the colour of the fly. I mean, this is a pinky Apses worm, but I think it would work the same with a red Apses worm. Right lads, I'm now going to show you another method. Like I say, we're here to fish different methods. One method is a must you have set up, especially through the months of April, May, June, is a must, is a natural rod. And what I'm fishing here, I'll show you the rod, is a pretty long leader, what a lot of anglers might struggle with. It's just a confidence thing I've got. I'm 10 foot there to my first dropper, which is just a little black dial back, nothing special, just a little black dial back. And then I'm going another 5 foot. If you look at that, that's half the length of the rod. I'll just pull it out so you can see it. That's basically half the length of the rod. So another 5 foot to another dial back of the same. Why have I got two the same? It's just a dial back I've got confidence in. You can have these in all different colours. Everybody knows what a dial back is. It's nothing special. But I've got two pearls. And then to the 20 foot full length of the cast, just flicking that out so you can see everything, is just a little quill buzzer with a little tungsten head on, and that's to go down deep. So what will happen is, when this line is stretched out, casted out like that on the water, this will go right down, and all I'm doing is keeping in contact. But I'm fishing 3 depths. I'm fishing whatever depth this goes down to, whether it be 15 foot, 20 foot, whatever. I've got the line is going down at an angle like that, so I'm covering all them depths. I'm fishing 20 foot, and then 10 up, and then 5 up from that, say 15 foot, and then 10 foot. That's letting it go to the bottom. If you know, obviously counting down each time. If I fish them straight away as they're going through the water column like that, I'm still fishing 3 different depths, because these fish are pretty, some's deep and some's shallow. So the way to do it is 2 light nymphs on a snowby buzzer tip, and it's a must method to have this time of year, because the fish get hard on naturals. I apologise for the fish before. What you'll see is catch. It was a nice double. I got a first cast on this and it actually took the quill buzzer, but the GoPro, something went wrong with it and it didn't film it, but we filmed the fish getting landed, and that was first cast. So I'm going to fish on now and show you how I'm fishing it and see exactly how it works. I'm going to start again. Don't need to be casting to the other side of the lake. A lot of people think you have to cast as far as you can cast. No, you don't. Right, all I'm doing now is just straightening that leader and doing absolutely nothing. Just, there is a slight breeze coming to my face, so that I'm basically just catching up with the breeze that's drifting the line towards us. I'm not actually moving them flies. I'm just letting them sink down through the columns. They'll take them on the drop. Just very, very slow. All I'm doing is keeping up with the line. We're fortunate to use this sort of method because this is a deep lake. This goes to 20 odd foot deep, so you can afford to use a tungsten buzzer on the point to get the depth, you know, to cover all them depths. If it was a shallower lake, you know, only 6-7 foot deep, then you wouldn't have a tungsten on the end. You'd just use a normal weighted buzzer, but it will go down slower. The reason why I've got a tungsten buzzer is to try and cover the full depth of the lake from 20 foot right up more or less to the surface. And like I say, the result, the first cast was a fish about 10 pound, took the buzzer. Be a close one, it'll be tennis, I would say. Ready? Yeah. Here it goes. Nice one. Lovely fish. Well done.
So fishing the washing line with a daddy on the point and 2 buzzers. So just letting it drift into this bay. Oh, there's a bump. Took the buzzer on the top dropper. I thought it might have took the daddy on the point, but it's took the buzzer. There we go.
I'm just gone on to dries now. There's a odd fish starting to rise, but it's gone overcast. It's looks like it's going to absolutely toss down, but I've just moved on to the dries for a bit and see what happens with the dries. Might get a few on the dries. Here's a nice one there on a little teeny hazy dry. I'm on a bit of a jetty here, so it's a bit of a stunt to release them. I'll just put that back. There we go. Fishing the dry fly blind. There's no fish rising at all, but they're very high on the water. There's an odd fish shown, but not rising. They're just buckling the water under the film. So I'm just fishing the dry fly, totally blind, long casting right out in the middle. Cracking method. You don't have to have fish rising to fish the dries. A lot of people think you need to see fish rising all over the place before they put the dries on. If they're high up in the water and they're buckling the water, then try dries, just blind. Really good method. And I've just got a lovely fish here on a little CDC dry. Very slow with the damsel. Nice fish. There's a lot of tadpoles in the water. If you go down in, I don't know if you can see, but there's absolutely millions of tadpoles in the water. So I've switched over to tadpole methods, all different colours, black, olive. I'm on a white one at the minute and it seems to be working really effective, but the fishery owner actually said that they've been hard on feeding on tadpoles, so another one come to the net. It's white tadpole, lovely, beautiful brown trout. Gone through a dive 5. But it must be some depth in this lake. I'm counting 25 seconds down with a tadpole, and I'm still nowhere near the bottom. Just getting a beautiful brown trout there on there, about £5 on this method. Fishing really deep. We're going for a try and get a big fish. There is some big fish in here, and that's where they'll be on the floor. So trying our best to get another double. Casting into that wind, but just on the hang there, beautiful, on the hang, followed us right the way in, and I just hung it, took lovely. Another good fish. Another brownie. Going deep is getting these brownies. The brownies is obviously on the floor, and the last 2 fish on this method's been brownies, so another lovely brownie. Alec! No, it's not a lump, but it's a nice brownie.
Brownie, is it?
Yeah.
That's a lovely brownie, that's absolutely gorgeous. Look at the spots on that. Belt that. Right, Peter, that's the end of our fishing, with the rain's coming and it's forecast for really heavy this afternoon. So you've come down to new fishery, you've never been here before. How you found it? Because you come down to demonstrate different methods on a new fishery that you've never fished.
Well, yesterday when we arrived, it was absolutely bright sunshine, burning hot, and not a ripple on the water. Very little ripple anyway. So it was pretty difficult. There was a odd fish rising, odd fish moving, should I say. Not so much feeding, but moving on the top. But we found it pretty difficult, didn't we?
We did, yeah, we did. I mean, it wasn't straightforward, that's for sure, you know.
So went through the normal procedure in coming to a new water, start with the pulling and stuff like that, and found they did want it pulling, but you had to slow right down, really slow right down. If you pulled, they just weren't chasing the flow. To catch fish yesterday, you had to fish extra slow and small. I mean, I've just got a cast here to show you the sort of sizes of buzzers we were using yesterday. I went down to size 18 little buzzers. But that's what you have to do, you know. At this time of year, you get away with your big buzzers early on in the spring, you know, March, April. But the later the summer goes on, they get smaller.
So you're saying 16s, 18s, 14s, 16s, 18s is probably about right.
I reckon after May, you're not seeing me use a 16.
Right.
18s, 20s.
Right, small, delicate presentation, yeah.
Because
definitely.
And very slow. It's because that's what the fish are. I mean, if you was to spoon a fish that time of year, they'll be absolutely cram-packed with tiny stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Now the pulling side of it, obviously when they went onto the sinking lines.
I did the Apsis worm. I showed a lot of people pull the Apsis worm regimented,
like a robot.
They pull it the same every time they go fishing, and you can catch on the worm, but you have to slow it right down. And you'll see this on the video when I demonstrate it. And that method was actually lethal. If we really wanted to, we could have emptied this place with
this is the pinky in particular as well. That you
fishing the pinky by itself, but it was how I was fishing it. If you pulled it, and it was just a two-legger, not the pulling worm.
Well, the four-legger it is,
two at the front,
two at the back. Yeah.
But you'll see on the video, because we've got some good footage of that.
Yeah.
And I'll give some good tips on it now. When you get little nips, always check your fly and that. But you'll see all this on the video.
Good. We've had some nice fish. You've had browns, and you had a nice. Well, we didn't weigh it, but it would be certainly pushing double figures.
Yeah, I had a nice double on the tiny little buzzer.
Yeah.
But it's been tough, but that's how I like it.
Yeah.
I like a fishery that you have to work hard to suss it out.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like going to fisheries where eeny, meeny, miny.
Yeah, where you're getting fish every cast and you haven't got to work for them, basically.
And you basically get the fly box out, eeny, meeny, miny, more which fly shall I put on, they all work. So
I mean, to be fair, you must have had well over 20 fish anyway, you know, but you've had to graft for them, really, you know.
I had to graft for them, but I did work it out where it was a method that if I'd stuck with it, I'd have done some damage with it. But we're not here for that.
Well, hopefully this is why we came. It's to try and put across the different methods and different techniques, and your tips obviously is hopefully the tips is on the videos, which there will be.
And that was yesterday, and yet today, this morning when we got up, totally different here. When you would expect them to be on the top, being overcast and pretty windy, and we've ended up on
going deep on die lines, die fives, slow,
It's unbelievable.
But the water here is deep and it's clear, so you've got a lot of options, you know, and we're absolutely getting soaking wet now because the rain's come before.
And the fishery itself is worth noting is absolutely stuffed with tadpoles. It's millions. And they're hard on feeding on them. You know, you can actually see them come round the edges, hitting them. So hence that's why we went to tadpoles.
It's a water where you can do a lot of methods, can't you? From dries to you know, nymphs, and obviously you can get as deep as you like. I mean, you know, so.
Highly recommended. Anybody up this neck of the woods, North Wales, coming for a holiday, you know, that fly fish calling there. It's absolutely amazing water. Deep as out. You never ever get any bother with
there's no
right
weed,
through here.
No.
So, and it's stuffed with fish. It can be tricky, hard to catch, but that's what you want. You know, you don't want easy fisheries. You learn and you get better fishing on hard fishes and what
changing methods to try and find what the fish want.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Smashing.
And, when you work them, you feel like you've achieved something when you come to the fishery and it is hard and you've had a good day, you've achieved something. You know what I mean?
Smashing in, Peter. We'll wrap it up there because we're going to get absolutely soaking wet. Right. Lovely. Been a pleasure. Cheers.
Catch you later.